So this is going to give you so much clarity around your life. And I can't think of a better person who has applied this over the years. I can't wait for you to hear her story. And that's Melissa Kutchek, and she is a platinum. She's also a director 1 here at Modere, but she is one of the humans that always reaches out to me. So excited about this call. Like usually a month in advance, she'll send me a picture of like her journal and her blue index cards, and so many of her goals have come to fruition. And so I'm just excited for her to share her story about being here at Modere, what she used to do, what she does, how she got here, but then also what the goal-setting workshop that we're doing on December 16th, what that has done for her in her life over the years. So, Melissa, are you out there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
I can. How are you, girl?
Good, good. Thank you, Michelle, for asking me to do this again, because it's always on my blue card list.
I love it. I love it so much. Well, I love how much has come to fruition in your life. So let's just start with your story, because I really want people to know who you are, what you used to do, what you do, how you got here to Modere. You can always give some tips and training on building your business here at Modere as well. I know that you want to share kind of some amazing testimonials and some things that have come from your blue cards with blue ink and your vision board and all the things that I absolutely love. So go ahead and just fire away.
Well, thank you again for allowing me this opportunity, because, like I said, it's always one of my blue cards for the year. So it's to talk about your training. So it's just truly appreciated, and I'm just so grateful for it, which is just a huge part of my practice is gratitude and bringing that into helping me with my success and my goals. So, but yeah, I joined Modere back in 2018. And have been happier than I could have ever been with any company. So it's just, there's never been a doubt that Modere is my home, that it showed up in my world for some reason, and I'm just blessed with it ever since. So, but in December, so I joined in March, quickly ran through the ranks after miserably failing at another company, and just not getting to where I wanted to be with, the quote unquote side gig. So I do this part-time, and I just, the other company that I was with, I just wasn't seeing it. And so I was going to quit network marketing. Somebody said, give it one more try. So the two Julies, they're just like, let's give it one more go. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll give it one more go. And thank goodness I did. Like, thank you, Julie Reynolds, for introducing me to network marketing in the first place, but because it truly has made just a huge difference in my world, not just monetarily, but personally, like personal growth and personal goals. But later in December, I heard this lady come on and say that when one of the Saturday team trainings, and say that she was doing this goal setting call for 2019, and I thought, okay, like now we're talking my game. This is definitely something that I'm interested in, because I love setting goals. I was all about building habits. And so I did. I made sure I was actually celebrating Christmas the day that call came on. And I said, I'm sorry, at this time, I have to be on a phone call. I have to do this training, because I think it's going to make a huge difference in my world. And I was listening to this lady called Michelle Barnes talk about blue index cards and blue pens, and I thought, all right, science geek that is built in me, I'm so about this. So I listened to that call, and fast forward to 2019, I think I had 9 cards, blue index cards written out, and 6 of the 9 came to fruition, wow, including Modere. Like, I was like, okay, this is side gig world, but I need to build it to a place. I need to know that Modere can help me build to a place that I want to be, and that will give me that consistent income that I'm looking for on a monthly basis that I wasn't getting in my past world. And fast forward to, I think it was finally October of 2019, I had met both of my Modere goals. So the blue cards, you guys, we'll talk about that in a second, but make sure that you spend time listening to this phone call. Put it in your calendars, put it in, and set that time apart to literally pay attention, because that beginning introduction of what Michelle does on that call completely has changed my life for the last 5 years. So, and I am there, probably her number one fan, sitting there listening and doing the actions from that call. But one of the really odd things when that call came about is that, and this is what Michelle and I talk about all the time, because I was at the first Leaders Conference in 2019 in Utah, and I walked up to Michelle and I said, "I'm one of your blue card girls." and I said, "I just want to show you," I think I had sent it to you right before Leader Conference, and I said, "I'm the one that sent you the picture about the house." And what had happened was, one of my blue card goals was just a personal dream goal, and I said by June of 2019, I'm going to live in my dream house. Now, there was a very specific house that I had in mind, but there was zero, there was no way that I knew how to get that house. The house wasn't for sale. The house was occupied. The house was on a street that I never imagined I could be on. The house had the views that I wanted. But since living on our lake, we live on a lake, and every single year for 10 years, we would go by this house and I would say, someday I will live in that house. And so in January, I actually toured the house. I was like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, my husband never in a million years would live in this house. Like, this is just a no-go. And I really actually wrote it off. But in May, my husband surprised me and came back and said, "So are you ready to purchase our," he didn't say your, he said our dream home? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, and just back up just slightly, I had broken my ankle, and so the gold cards got put aside, but around Memorial Day, I moved from our house over to our cottage on the lake. Every Memorial Day I would move over, and I flipped open my book, and there were all my blue cards that were with me. And so I had reviewed them, and he said, I talked to the guy that owned the house. If you agree, we're making an offer on the house today. And I was just like, I was so blown away. I just couldn't believe it. So fast forward, we took a lot of action. This guy was in Jamaica celebrating his daughter's birthday. We called, we made it happen, and by Monday, Memorial Day, we had made an offer and bought the house. So, I was just blown away. So by June, technically it was July 4th, but by June we had started moving into our dream home. And when we were moving, I flipped open and saw my vision board, because I have a digital vision board that I keep on my iPad. And I flipped it open, and I was like, oh my God, the house and I had just pulled this house off of Pinterest. I hadn't taken a picture of this home directly, but I had pulled a picture, and it just must have been kind of similar to what I wanted. And I put the picture of our house next to the picture of that Pinterest house that I looked at every single day. It took 10 years, but I have been living in my dream home for 3.5 years. So, and Modere was part of that. That added money from the goals I met from Modere helped us with, getting this home. So it was just blown away. So I had to send it to Michelle and go, you're never going to believe this. But guess what?
It was, I get chills. I obviously know the story and I've heard it numerous times, but I'm like, I get total body chills every time I hear your story. I think sometimes we get so caught up on the how, and we're like, well, how am I going to get that dream home, or how am I going to, go on this vacation, or send my kids to this private school, or how am I going to be able to tithe X amount of dollars? How? And it's like, when you let go of the how, you make a decision. It's amazing what happens when you make a decision. And the word decision means to cut off any other alternative. It's incision. It comes from a Latin term, incision, to cut off. So when you make a decision, like I can tell when somebody's made a decision to make shit happen. It's crazy because you can feel it in their energy. You can feel it in their vibe. You can hear it in their voice. You can also tell when they don't really believe it, and it's not going to happen. So I love the fact that you have always had this belief of, I am doing this goal setting training. You guys will come out of this goal setting training with 9 concrete goals for 2024. And I love that 6 of those came to fruition. Melissa, it's so freaking awesome. Well, I know you have a few other stories, and I know we need to hustle to the next speakers, but if there's other, things that you want to share, please do.
Yeah, Michelle, I think you just touched on it a little bit. You and I are both huge Bob Proctor fans. And one of my favorite sayings from him is, the only limits in your life are those that you impose on yourself. So your limitations are literally anything. And I think that story that I just told, I didn't know how a dream home was going to come to fruition, especially when it wasn't even for sale. So, don't focus on that how. Don't get set on, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get 10 customers. Don't worry about that how. Worry about taking the action so the how can come into fruition. And we took specific action on making the sale of this home happen. We called the person that owned the home. We didn't know how it was going to, but we just kept taking action, and it happened. It's amazing what will happen. So, just kind of some words of advice is, there's 2 amazing women coming up to speak next. If your goal is to be, a senior team leader and hit silver or hit gold, but you have no idea how or where you're going to get the people from or where you're going to get the sales from, don't worry about that. Your action is to simply take in the personal development that is on these Saturday calls and take action with the people that are telling you, this is how I got there. Or find somebody that has already hit silver or gold. Ask them how they did it. Find somebody that is a senior team leader, director, elite, and ask them how I did it. I come back to you. I come back to Julie. I come back to a lot of people and say, how? How did you do it? What steps do I need to take? And there's so much. I mean, there's thousands, just tens of thousands of dollars worth of training that we have at our fingertips here. It's not going to work. All the stuff that everybody's doing may not work for you, but one of them will. So release the how, let that go, and just keep moving forward in your action. That's the one thing that I can take. And when you look at that blue card, your action will just continue to stay energized. So it's something that you're just going to want to look at and revisit and bring in that energy to yourself to say, if I'm going to meet that goal, I need to take this next step.
I love it, Melissa. Well, thank you for sharing that story, and maybe we can post. I know you did a post maybe last year with the side-by-side pictures of the houses, and maybe you can retell the story, because obviously we have thousands of people in our groups, and so maybe you can share that story and put the picture up there so people can actually see, because it's just so cool. It gives me chills every time I see it. That would be awesome.
Just posted the Amazon link for the $4 Blue Index cards.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, well, thank you for sharing, girl. And I'm telling you guys, there are blue cards with blue ink all over my house. My kids have them in their rooms. I mean, it's crazy. They will put their their goals on blue cards with blue ink. And I know it makes no sense right now for those of you that maybe it's the first time you're ever hearing this about the goal setting training, but it will on December 16th. I promise you that. So get the journal, get the pens, get the blue index cards, and be ready to just crush this goal-setting training on December 16th. All right. Well, thanks again, Melissa. You're amazing. Love you to pieces, girl.